Howdy folks, and welcome out to the claim. It's another great day out here, and I'm really excited because I got some really great things to show you. So come on over here and we'll check it out. The first thing I did is I got rid of my deep cycle marine batteries and the gas powered water pump, and I converted the entire wash plant to AC electric. So I've got this 2,000 watt generator here that powers everything. So this is much more efficient and also easier to handle because the generator can just stay here in the back of the truck and I can just run the power cord out to the wash plant. So let me show you what I've done to the upper shaker deck. So I added these little studs here. Now what these studs are for is when the deck is shaking and the rocks are moving down, it kind of acts like a pinball machine and causes the rocks to divert and bash around, and it helps work on this kind of material here that's this dirt clod. So it helps break them up as it's flowing over this, and of course the spray bars are spraying down on the material, kind of breaking it all up, so the finer pieces fall through the deck, and of course the coarser pieces, fall off into the tailings. And underneath the shaker deck, I removed the old 12 volt motor and converted it to 120 AC, and this is a 90 watt motor. And of course the cans up here, you can actually take the lids off and adjust the weight so you can get different vibratory effects with this. So this is really super effective. It turns at 3,600 RPM, and it really shakes the deck pretty well. The next thing I want to show you, and probably the highlight of this video, is this dewatering shaker deck. If you recall in one of my previous videos, I had created a dewater deck that sat at about a 15-degree angle, had a center motor on it that was shaking up and down and vibrating, and it had a 200 mesh screen, and it was doing sort of an okay job to filter out all the material from the water. But when I posted that video, I had a couple of viewers mention to me that some of the larger companies, especially oil and gas companies, have a shaker deck similar, but it's actually flat. So I went ahead and I investigated this and checked it all out. And it turns out that if I were to flatten this deck out and still be able to maintain the same filtration process, I would be able to lower the entire wash plant design down about 6 to 9 inches, which is really huge when you're trying to, put dirt into the wash plant. So anyhow, let me show you a little more closer details about this. First of all, this has two vibrating motors. These are 120 volt, just like that was on the upper shaker deck. They're 90 watts, okay? And these two vibrators shake the entire deck to move the material. If you notice, they're sitting at 45 degrees. That way their vibratory response allows the material to actually land here onto this part of the deck, which is called the pond. Okay, so all the slurry from the sluice lands here, and of course everything vibrates along, the water drops down through the bottom, and then all the solids flow down all the way to the other side, which is called the beach. This is called the beach over here, okay? And then everything flows off into the tailings pile, and this is how this works. Now this particular device was really difficult, spent many months trying to put this together. The math behind this, even though this thing looks brutally simple, it really isn't. I mean, the math that's involved in this is almost like trying to land a spaceship on Mars. But anyway, it's a pretty cool thing once I got it all worked out. And of course the whole thing is floating on springs. It's got several spring sets just like this to allow it to vibrate on. So we'll go ahead and get this thing fired up here in a few minutes, and we'll show you how it works. So the final step to any successful desert sluicing operation is a filtration process. Now obviously the dewatering shaker deck does a bulk of the work by removing a lot of the solids from the liquid, but you still have to be able to filter out some of the fine particles that are suspended in the water. So the next step is to actually have some kind of filtration system. So what I got here is just a 5-gallon bucket that I've modified, and I've got this this screen thing here used for car washes, okay? And so this just lays in the bottom of the bucket, and then I've got this mesh screen that's actually a pet screen that you get at the hardware store, and I lay that on top of the bucket here, okay? So that way it helps support the rocks. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put in 1/4 inch sand in this, and so what's going to happen is that everything that's flowing off the dewatering deck is going to fall into this bucket first with the 1/4 inch sand. So that'll help remove some of the suspended particles. So we'll go ahead and put our 1/4 inch sand right into this bucket. There we go. Okay. And so the water will flow into this stuff, okay? And hopefully some of the suspended particles will get trapped. Now this is not the only one. We're going to have two other processes. This is 1/4 inch sand. I also have another bucket here that I'm going to load with 1/8 inch sand, and I'm going to put it over here in the secondary tub. Okay, we got the same corresponding bucket, so we'll go ahead and dump the 1/8 inch sand into this one, and we'll fill it up. There we go. And so this sand will fit right underneath this flume right here. So everything from this tub up here with the 1/4 inch sand will be flowing up and flowing down into this. So this is a finer particle. This is kind of a passive filtration process. And so this will filter out even more of the suspended particles that are in the solution. What we have next here is this AC submersible trash pump. Okay, this pump's at 2,000 gallons an hour, runs on 120 volt AC, and on the bottom I have it wrapped with the same screen, PET screen mesh that you can get at the hardware store. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a bag around this with sand in it, and then I'll show you more what we're going to do. So what we're going to do is take this nylon mesh bag. Now this has about 60 mesh screen on it. This is actually used for brewing beer. Okay, and it's relatively tough. It's quite durable. So we're going to lay this in the bottom of the tub here. Okay, kind of stretch it out a little bit, best we can. There we go. Get the seam in the middle, and then we'll go ahead and drop the motor right down in the center here. Get it nice and snug. All right. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fill this tub up, or fill this bag up, with 1/4 inch sand. What's this going to do? It's going to create a barrier around the opening here to allow a little bit more surface area for the pump to breathe. So we're just going to slowly just pour this down on here. There we go. Put a little more in the back here. There we are. And it's okay if a little bit spills out, it's not going to hurt anything. Okay? And so now we've got this sand sitting in this bag. Now what this is going to do is, like I say, it's going to add kind of a buffer zone for the other bags that are correspondingly going to sit in here that are going to be the 1/16 inch sand. So this just allows the pump a little bit better breathing room, if you would, when it's operating. So I'm just going to push this around, make sure this is all nice and pushed up against the screen. Okay, looking good. And I'll go ahead and cinch the screen down, and we're all set here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to put the sand into these bags, same kind of nylon bag. This is going to be the 1/16 inch, and this eventually is going to wrap around the motor. So we'll just slowly pour this in here. Hopefully we'll get it in there without it collapsing. And that's okay if it does. We'll figure it out. All right. There we go. Okay, and that's going to be one sand bag. Okay. All right. And so we're going to just kind of tuck that in right next to the motor. So that way it'll filter out as much dirt before it gets into the motor here. Okay. And we'll do the same for over here. Okay, as you can see, we got our corresponding bags wrapped all around the pump. And so full of sand. This is 1/16 inch sand, so this will filter out the final amount of suspended particles that's in the solution before it gets to the pump and before it pumps back out up to the shaker deck. Another test that I want to do today is actually see how much water is consumed by running a cubic yard worth of material. So I've got these 5-gallon buckets filled up with water. So as we run material through here, obviously as the material is getting washed on it, there's going to be some water loss. I want to see how much it really is. So we'll go ahead and just kind of fill up this tub behind me here as the water levels start to drop, and we'll see how much we consume. Okay, we got everything all set up here. We got the shaker deck, got the sluice underneath it, and we got the dewatering shaker deck set up. And so we're ready to go. Let's get the thing fired up so we can run some material. So this entire wash plant is controlled by this electrical box here, both panels. So underneath it here is a couple of switches. This operates the dewatering shaker deck. And then this box over here operates the upper shaker deck and also the pump motor for the sluice. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get those all turned on. So we'll go ahead and turn on the dewatering shaker deck first and get that going. Okay, you can see that in there. And everything's all nice and smooth there. We're ready to go. We'll go ahead and turn on the shaker deck and get that fired up, the upper shaker deck. Vibrating really nice here. Now we'll go ahead and turn on the sprayer. And there we go. Make a little adjustment here. See the water flowing down through the sluice, down onto the dewatering shaker deck there. All right, now let's make some flow adjustments and then we'll get ready to run some material. Get those rocks dancing in there. Woohoo! You can see some of the material being eaten up and washed as it flows down off the chute into the collection bucket there. We're just going to feed it some material here. You can see all this gooey clay down here being filtered out. Isn't that pretty cool? That's amazing. Here comes a 6-inch rock off the chute here. There we go. Look at that. Nice gooey clay just coming right off of there. All that stuff would normally be gumming up your water in the sluice, but now we're getting rid of it. 200 mesh, that's down to 74 microns. Okay folks, I think it's about time we shut her down. Everything's flowing through the sluice here. And down onto the dewater deck. Really a lot of gooey clay today. Woo! Look at all that gooey clay coming off of there. Look at that. And right into the tub. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and shut it down. We ran about a cubic yard. We'll see how much gold we get. Now that we got everything shut down, I just want to tell you how much water we end up using. Now this is three of the five 5-gallon buckets that we had here earlier, and I actually ended up using all 5 buckets plus 1. So we used a total of 6 buckets to replenish the wash plant over here. And so that means that it took 35 gallons to fill these tubs back here, and then it also took the additional gallons, so that's another 30. So you're talking probably by the time you're done, you're talking between 65 and 70 gallons to run a cubic yard of material, which really is not bad, because normally when I'm running stuff, especially when it's bone dry like it is, I've been usually using about 100 to 120 gallons. So this is really super efficient, the system that I've got back here. So I'm really expecting that we can even get that number down even more. And this really makes it great, because if you're a weekend prospector and you got maybe 2 or 3 55-gallon drums in the back of your truck, you can go out sluicing on the weekend. And that's the whole idea. So anyway, we did pretty good. So let's go ahead and take the sluice out of here and see what we got. Okay, we'll carefully lift the sluice out of here, and then we'll slide it over to one of the tubs so we can kind of take a look at it and see if we got any gold showing in the riffles here, okay? Yeah, I've got it stuck there. All right, here we go. Okay, I just got the sluice tipped up here and ran just a little bit of water over the riffles here just to kind of clean it off a little bit. So let's see if we got any gold. Okay, we can start to see some gold. There's a little speck right here at the end of my finger. And as we kind of pan down here, there's another piece right there. And we can just slide down the first part of the riffle. And look at this, we got a whole bunch of them right down here. There's one right there. And there's a whole group right in this zone right in here. Okay. So we got some gold. There's another piece right here on this upper riffle. And we can slide along here, and there's another piece hiding right down in there. You can see that little piece of gold. So it looks like, yeah, we did pretty good through here. And in fact, we're going to come on over here to this little piece. You can see there's another one right there. Okay, looking pretty darn good. So just kind of slowly scan down the first layer of riffles. And you can see just little bits of gold in here. So at least I know we didn't get skunked. Everything's looking pretty good. So we'll go ahead and roll this thing up and flush it out in the tub. And then we'll run it and see what we get. Got my bucket here that I'm going to put the mat in. So we'll go ahead and undo the latches here. This just kind of releases the clamps that I have on the mat just to keep it from moving around. There we go. That comes out. Now what we'll do is just go ahead and roll this matting up, and I'll just be real careful to pull it loose. And you notice I'm sitting this in the tub here, so that way anything gets loose, it lands in the tub. So we're not going to lose anything. All right, and we got all the good stuff right there. So I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to rotate it, so that way nothing spills out. And then we're going to take it over to the bucket and dump it in there, so now we can wash it out. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of shake it here a little bit. And yeah, in the words of Jeff Williams, you're going to get wet. All right, and now what we'll do is we'll take the mat out here, and we'll spin it the other way, so that way the V-shaped mattings are to the outside, and this will help release all the rocks and if there's any big nuggets in there. And we'll just go ahead and shake it out real good. Make sure we get all the little specks and rocks out of here. All right, yeah, looking pretty good. One more time. There we go. All right, so now we got a nice clean mat. We'll just set that aside for the moment. All right, now we got to deal with the sluice, and it's still got a lot of mud and everything in here. You can see that. All right, so we're just gonna basically run some water over it, kind of splash it, get into the cracks and corners and stuff like that. That's usually where the gold likes to hang out. Just kind of clean it off real good. Yep, there we are. So now if there's any gold trapped in, or it was in this sluice bay, it'll be down here in the tub, and we can just pour that back into here so we can go panning. Now, before we get to the gold, I want to just kind of point out a couple other things here first, okay? One is that it's the end of the day kind of thing, and you want to clean out your sand from your sand filter. So if you remember, we got these bags of sand in here. Ugh, it's super heavy. And you know, these things are full of all kinds of mud. Now you can take this bag of sand and wash it in the tub, but I've got a better idea, and I'll show you here in just a second, okay? Now look at this tub here, this bucket that we had with the 1/8 inch sand. Look at this gooey garbage in here. Woo! Look at that stuff that it trapped. Isn't that amazing? That is crazy. Wow. It did a really good job trapping that gooey clay. Well, I'm going to show you how we're going to get rid of all this gooey clay and clean up your sand so you can use it for the next time. So what we're going to do is run this gooey clay back into the wash plant. Okay, the sprayers will spray on it and wash all the gravel. It'll drop through the shaker deck and onto the sluice. Now the sluice, I remove the matting, so it's just bare metal, and then it's going to flow onto the dewater shaker deck. So the dewater shaker deck will strip all the water and silt that's left from this rock, and then what tails off into the tub over on the other side will be nice clean gravel that we can use for the next time. So let's get this thing fired up. Okay, let's get this thing powered up again. So we'll turn on the dewatering shaker deck. Now we'll turn on the upper deck. And then we'll go ahead and turn on the water. There we go. Okay, let's get some of this gooey sand going in here. Woo! Woo! Boy, that stuff is gunky. Oh my gosh. Woo! Woo! Look at all that gunk. So what's going on is this is washing all that rock. It's flowing down through here and then coming off the dewater shaker deck here. So let me give you a closer look at that. Now you can see everything coming right off the deck here and flowing right into the bucket. Right into a nice clean sand. And then we'll do that for all of our sand. So that way it'll be nice and clean for next time. Pretty cool, huh? Now I know you're anxious to get to the gold, and so am I, but I want to show you one more thing first that's really super important to show you and demonstrate how efficient this dewatering system really is, along with the sand filtration. This is really awesome. Now in my previous videos where I used the Trommel as my dewatering device, okay, it had a 60 mesh screen, okay, when I ran a cubic yard of this gooey clay that's out on this claim, this entire tub would be completely filled with silt and sand, okay? And then about a quarter of this tub over here would also be filled with the same gunk, okay? Now, take a look at this. This is all we got. Is that unbelievable? I mean, that just shows you how efficient that 200 mesh shaker deck screen and sand filtration system really is. I mean, look at this. We have gooey clay that's only probably about at my fingers here. Looks like maybe about 2 inches at the most. Is that amazing or what? And actually in the middle there's hardly any, so this is mostly built up on the sides. So that is really incredible. Now, this stuff here, as you can see, is just real super gooey, gunky stuff, man, let me tell you. But yeah, you could probably make pots out of it or something. So, but anyhow, that just to show you that this thing is really going to be an awesome machine, especially when we get this trailer mounted and be able to travel with it. This is going to be great. All right, so let's go get the gold. Woo! Okay, folks, we're going to take a look at the gold here. I got a Maverick pan here made by Snake River Products, and it's a pretty cool pan. It's pretty good for panning out concentrates like this. So we'll go ahead and take a look here, and hopefully I can keep the glare off so you can see see the gold as well here. I saved a lot of time. I got rid of all the blonde stuff first, so we just get right down to the black sand. That way you're not having to get bored to death with just watching a bunch of panning going on. So we'll go ahead and just kind of make our cut, get rid of some of the black sand up front here real quick. Okay, hang in there with me. Okay, all right, now we're already starting to see some gold show up. I'll just bring this right up here so you can see it. Get that water out of the way, and you can see smatterings of it right along in here. Get my finger down there so we can focus. You can see it dotted all along the beginning here. So this is just the early stuff kind of floating on the upper part of the black sand here. So let's go ahead and cut down a little further and see what we get. Oh yeah, now we're starting to see a lot more show up. Let me just pause here for a moment so you can take a look. You can see all that gold just smattered in there. Pretty nice, look at all that. Yeah, starting to show up pretty good. Okay, well, let's continue to cut on down. A lot of the stuff is going to slide on down down to the other end of the pan, but that's okay. We're going to cut down and see if we can get to some of the good stuff. I'm just going to move some of the big rocks out of the way here, just real quick. Hopefully I didn't disturb anything. Okay, and here we go. Oh yeah, look at this. More gold. It just keeps coming. Just keeps coming. Oh yeah, look at all this fine stuff. Look at this. All littered through this black sand. Look at that. Is that amazing? Check that out. Wow. Now, we're still getting down here. Let's keep on cutting and see what else we're going to get. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Look at this stuff coming up here in the corner. And you get my finger down here so you can see it. Get in here with the camera. There it is. Look at that stuff starting to show up. Woo! What do we got here? Oh, oh yeah, look at that. Woo! Oh, look at that. That is awesome. Let's get our tweezers down in here, see if we can get that out. All right. That, my friend, is a little nugget. Check that out. Woo! Get that in focus there. Get it on the camera. There we go. A little. All right. That ain't going to work. So let's put it on my hand and let's see if we can get it to focus. There we go. How about that, huh? Look at that little guy. That's probably about 1/8 of an inch diameter. And like a lot of the gold around here, it's extremely coarse. Look at that. Pretty darn nice. Pretty cool, huh? All right. Well, I don't want to lose that, so I'm going to put it back in the pan where it belongs. Now, if I recall, we have another one hiding down here. Oh, yeah, look at this guy. Oh, yeah, right down in the corner here. Let's grab this one out. Now, this is not quite a nugget, but it's I mean, it's a decent picker. Look at that. Awesome. All right, get the camera to focus. There we go. Pretty cool. Woo! All right. So let's go ahead and continue on and see what else we got in this, huh? Wow, this is awesome. We really knocked it out of the park. Now, there's a lot of fine gold in here, and I'm just going to see if I can get in here so you guys can see that. Just look at that. Just completely peppered all over this. Just filled with flecks of gold all over the place, man. Oh, this is just loaded. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. All the way down through here. All the way across. Just spilling everywhere. Woo! All right. Well, we did pretty darn good. And a lot of this fine gold, you really have a very tough time getting any of this with a dry washer, especially this real super fine stuff. I mean, some of this stuff's down to like, 100 mesh, 200 mesh size gold. Oh yeah, just look at this. Jeez. Oh my gosh, can you take a look at that? Wow, just all fine stuff through here. All right, now there's some up here in this corner, so let's go check out what's going on in the corner here. I see a little piece sitting there. Well, just a little piece, that's all it is. I thought maybe it might have been another picker hiding in the corner, but I guess not. All right, let's see if we can get everything out of the corner here. There we go. Yeah, there's not much left there. Okay, well, there it is, folks. We did really super good. This is awesome, especially that little nugget and that little picker. That just makes the day. Woo! In fact, there it is right there. Let's go get it. Let's see if we can pull that thing back up. There it is. Yes, sirree. Get that baby to focus. Come on, camera, focus. Woo! Guess it's not going to focus. It's going to be camera shy. Okay, well, anyway, we did real good, folks. All right, that's it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, smash that like button. Now, if you want to see future videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell, and that way, whenever I post another video, you'll know about it. And I know we're going to be doing a lot of wash plant videos in the future, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I wish you the very best in your prospecting adventures. Get out there and find some gold, and we'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.